about Scintilla and Moxie. The other Moxie.
Who is Moxie?
She's a streamer.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be like
what's the rhyme
because I can't. It's not PG.
Ah, okay.
But it's on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure someone has it, can tweet it at me, and I will retweet it.
Well, there we go. Challenge is out there. And a challenge for Boot as we enter round number 10. Deals, 1 PT50, Tommy with the body armor, 1 smoke. I think all 5 players towards Palace right now. Okay, 4 of them. Moxie to the A-ramp. Should be a bit of a spray down here. We're not going to get too hyped about this one. Very quick round. Not really anything going right for Boot so far. They've had that 1 successful round on the board, but you have to feel like this is just a bit of a challenging tournament for them. You go up against the world's #1 team when you get here. Not many teams will beat SK Mirage, one of their absolute best maps. And you sat outside the top 100. It's always going to be rough for you, but I guess good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to learn from this. I mean, the best... It goes along the lines of, you know, would you like to be the best team in the worst scene or the worst team in the best?
The problem is, though, you can watch this demo. It's not really going to help you out that much because they're just pushing you so much every single time. So it's not like you can really improve your game. But for now, Tommy and Splash, they are aware that the aggression's coming through time and time again. It was Taco and Phelps that pushed towards the mid area, and they have been punished for it. I have to say, Boot have been good in that regard, but Fallen, he's still alive and kicking. It takes down Ben Kai.
Yeah, you make a good point. If you're just getting absolutely trashed, it's hard to really assess why, where, and why. Like,
yeah,
that situation was rather careless. Tommy just runs across the top of middle and gets taken down with no flash or anything after having no one to peek connector. They know they've been playing in that quite a lot, so yeah, that's almost a hope for the best moment. Especially when Tommy gives back what was a one-man advantage.
Yeah, it's not ideal. That was a 5-on-3 situation. Now the 3-on-3 in terms of what we've got left for Boot here. 3 players outside A once again. So they've got 3 smokes to work with, to be fair. Can go for some sort of execution here, but with 1 player towards Palace, it means 2 smokes. So I would say maybe smoke towards CT spawn in jungle, try and focus on the connector. Cold Zero, though, he's in a lovely little position here, trying to find the first frag. I say he probably gets 2, maybe even the 3rd. They're not going to be checking this by the looks of things. Bomb out, and Fallen gets his 3rd of the round, make it 4th. Going for that ace now, Moxie with a nice shot to take him down in CT spawn.
And Moxie puts it back to a one-on-one as a result, perhaps overthinking slightly, trying to bait in the player. Ooh. And I take my words back. He finds Fur, down he goes. Moxie had 15 seconds to work with, but he finds the 2nd round for the Booties.
The Booties strike back, it seems. That was a 5-on-3 as well. It'd be gutting to lose that round, so good job from Boot to clutch it out. That's been the problem. They have been getting the bombs down and getting himself into situations that are possible. Just can't win the tight clutches. So, Fallen with 4 kills. He jumped up in CT spawn before he got taken down, and it will be another reset potential here for Boot. You need to be very careful as we enter round number 12. If they can win this round, they might destroy the financial situation for SK, but he's not having any of it. He likes to be aggressive, probably one of the absolute most aggressive players we have in CSGO. Gets the first 2 frags and he'll fall back as well. No damage inflicted.
Cold waits behind this smoke. Catwalk push. Haven't seen that a lot from them. Again, they have been putting a lot of pressure on middle, but mostly with a peculiar 3-man stack inside of connector that I hope doesn't, I don't know, string on into other games against more formidable opposition, because 3 in connector can be neutralized quite quickly with utility.
Tommy, Moxie, and Impression. Big round for them to give away here. It's another reset if they lose this one. Less than a minute to work with here. No real map control working in their favor, man. You can see Impression, he's at the beginning of the B apartments and the T side. Moxie's with him as well. Tommy's in towards middle, but they've dropped their smokes and they're not doing anything with it. So he smoked connector and towards window, but that's gone down now. So he needs to get up towards short to join his teammates. I think he has to find a frag. Tommy needs to get something done here. Does a bit of damage. Ooh, okay, that's not bad at all.
Okay, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't as he gets him through the boxes on toward A. Watch for Impression. He's followed it up, but cold strikes. He goes back out immediately from the ladder room. It gives up B in doing so. His forward stance allows him to slip in the back, but a good peek. A first peek to get Moxie on 15 and a follow-up, the M4. Only takes 2, and in fact, Cold shot over top of his teammate to get the last kill as well. So 3 for him in the round, and they shut it down to go 10-2.
Nice opportunity there from Boot to maybe get the bomb down, but didn't happen. Denied from the apartments, and it's the initial push from pinpoint accuracy there. Very good awareness, pushing that underpass once more. And Boot, that's something they need to be very aware of. You're playing against Fur, who does this against world-class opposition as well. He's going to do it 10 times the amount in this sort of game. This sort of environment lends itself to him. He knows he's more skilled than everyone on the Boot squad. Push through, out-aim them, take them down, and shut down any tactics they had in mind as well. Number 13, there's the harsh reset. This is like double eco territory as well. 4 players and about the $1,400 mark. It's 10-2. Do you just force into this and hope for the best? Even if you force into it, it'd be very weak buy, not much utility. And pause comes through. Just to note as well, this is the first event where the coaches can now talk in the freeze time.
That's right. They talked about that briefly on the desk. Yeah, based on player feedback more than anything, it brings the coaches back into sort of a strat call situation.
It's a good middle ground, I guess. They can't do the mid-round stuff for them, but at least they can give their input as to what they should be doing at the start of the round.
Well, yeah, they could call us that strat based on something that they've seen, which they couldn't ultimately do before unless someone gave them the chance to do so by asking for a timeout. Fallen, Taco, each finding kills, one in between for Boot, but unfortunately that's all they get once the action really heated up. So a 3-1 down to a 3-0, 11-2 on the scoreboard. SK looking quite comfortable, I think.
Yeah, it has to be another eco for Boot, unfortunately. He's then doing what he can there. There's not really much you can say at this point, if you're him. Yeah, it's another eco. You're 11-2 down to SK Gaming. Like, there's only so much you can say. Like, come on, guys. 2's enough. Everyone knows it's not. So, unfortunately, I think we know which way this game is going. But Deagles, no nades, no armor, and we're heading towards B by the looks of things. Splash will be towards the apartments, or at least he was. coldzera takes him down with a swift headshot there with the M4A4, and he wants a little bit more as he finds another kill, takes down Tommy. And we'll have a look at the frag charts while we're here as well. Another eco round, 16 kills for Fallen. Same story for coldzera as well. To be fair, Moxie's on 11 kills, so he's keeping up with them at least, but not really posting the rounds on the board. That's the tricky part of it. It should be 12-2 at the end of this one.
For all the way at the top of middle. Doesn't quite get to the corner. Gets to fight beforehand, and he'll successfully do. Oh, so they both run out of ammo. Moxie goes back to finally win the exchange, but Fallen re-enters the scene and closes the curtain. It goes 12-2. Do you remember that clip way back when it was 1v1, bomb was down in mid, and the CT player hit at the garbages because he just blended in?
Which map is it on?
This map, top mid. The garbage bags behind the boxes to your left of where you're looking right now.
Oh, yeah.
He had sat there with his head down, and they couldn't even see him.
That's so funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You can do it on Dust 2 as well, long by the car.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, that's behind the flames. I think they nerfed that slightly because it was. I used to do it all the time. The pistol round's so good with ESP.
Yeah, right.
Fallen, nails him. I didn't think he actually got that shot. Lightning quick as always, is able to take down Ben Kai. Gets ready for the entrance from A main. Let's get one more, but impression again on entry. It's not amounting to much, unfortunately, for them, because either it's after they've lost players or trading, but they can't do anything with it in the mid-rounds. But he has found a good number of kills on his way running through to a bomb site.
We desperately need this round for Boot to really have a game of any sort of magnitude on our hands. Splash and Moxie now in a 3 versus 2 situation. Bomb is down towards Sandwich, and he's going to smoke himself out of the palace as well. That's a brave move, but pushes forward. Does have a chance to get a headshot here. That's Splash indeed. Towards Shadow he goes. They still have a minute to work with here. Recovered the bomb. Need to find this kill, which they do. Moxie taking down Phelps. And that's a lovely shot towards CD Spawn. 2 versus 1 now. coldzera, arguably the world's best player. Takes down the first. Now he's up against Moxie.
Moxie won his last one-on-one to win a round. With a similar tactic. A tapped bomb and then peeking out. Baiting it at the time. Fur, who had to push through smoke to get position. Moxie may do just that. He's got 30 seconds, lots of time to walk it the whole entire way. Cold is a little bit curious of it, though. Yeah, it goes back to the vent. I think he's going to start to consider going back to where he originally came from. Moxie's now in a tight position. He needs to hold this plant this time. Thankfully, will do so. The more he faked it, the more information Cold was going to get based on having the position at the vent.
Moxie knows CD Spawn is clear, so that's where he heads towards. Holding the steps for now. He actually has the advantage here, I would say. coldzera has no information as to where he could be, but coming around the corner, Moxie unfortunately finds the crosshair of coldzera. And there it is, 13-2. So we have to talk about the bomb plants coming in from Boot. They got it down I think, 5 times total during this one. So that's actually decent in terms of their general approach to each round and having the executions. That was good, but the problem was they weren't really anticipating the relentless aggression coming from SK Gaming, for pushing middle, underpassing was every single round, finding those kills, and like we said, falling at the A ramp as well, the close range AWP. We did know the lack of respect would be coming in, but it seems like Boot, they were ready for it some rounds and not so much others. So their execution seemed pretty good though. Their set pieces were on point, but couldn't really convert those rounds into victories.
Well, victories that were much needed. 13-2 SK. Smooth sailing, win the pistol, and it might be all she wrote. And Boot will have to try and recover. DSN, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, there's only so much he can do as a coach in this situation.
But he can talk more.
He can talk as much as I can be more of a cheerleader at this point. Like in terms of tactical things, like when you're this wrecked to this point, you know going into this game, you're not going to win it. Like, you have to be realistic, right? But trying to make as much of the dent as he possibly could. They got a couple of good rounds in there, some good executions and some chance for clutches, but SK Gaming always going to be much better in those scenarios. We'll have a look at the pistol buy for SK. 2 smokes, Molotov to work with as well. And they'll head towards A. All it seems to be focused on this side of the map. The bomb goes out released. It looks like an A split coming through as we head towards middle as well. Ben Kai, USP in hand, trying to find that first headshot. Can't land anything just yet. It'll be Molotov out of position, but Moxie, he does take down Taco. 5-on-4 in favor of Boot for now.
Start they need. Follow it up, though. That's the problem that they have had. Cold Zero to get back Tommy. And Kai's peeks once more, but they've already wrapped through connector. He's in a very, very tight position to try and play inside of the window room. Ooh, a bit of work with it. He actually catches Cold on a drive-by. I think he just caught him the shoulder, puts him down to 22 as Cold still jumps back through and makes it work. Doesn't matter how much HP he has. Splash Moxie trying to take the site back for and fall and close it out. 14-2 SK.
There's definitely some signs of life there for Boot. Got the opening kill, 5-on-4 in their favor, and a low HP Cold Zera completely ravishes them there. From CPL, finds 2 backstab kills, headshots of course, and finds the 14th round for SK Gaming. Has to be the force buy here from the team from Singapore. Deagles, 5.7s, P250s, no kits, no nades. Since for SK, they've got 1 rifle for Fallen, then UMPs and a MAC-10. Should be their round and match point.
Ooh, terrible timing for poor Fur on the flash, but still manages to get away from it. Moxie follows up for 1. Shot onto Phelps. They know where Moxie is, missing the jump still. Phelps gets back into position. Map point SK, and it didn't come in any shortage of time.
Very quick game here. That was the force buy from the CTs as well. When you're at match point, you don't really have much choice but to buy into it. Should be the 16-2 as the AKs come out as well. 4 on the Tech 9, 4 AK-47s, Deagles for the CTs. Tommy's got a UMP, but no head armor. But there's always a chance. Deagle can be very powerful on a map like Mirage. Lots of long-range angles to hold. Just takes 1 overzealous terrorist to walk into your crosshair. Can't find that opening kill, but that's all I really anticipate here. Maybe a couple of kills. I don't see them running around.
Good shot from Phelps to find Ben Kai. It would be a very tall order to win the round. Cold Zero following to take Tommy. Old Tommy boy. First finds impression. Moxie. Down by Taco, all on to Splash. He's not even a drop in the pan, let alone a splash, Henry.
Yeah, that will be the round. Unless Splash does something absolutely wild. He will not. So as expected, man, we did know SK going to win that one. I said about 16-3. It's 16-2, and they didn't really have to break a sweat there at that point. But we did see something from Boot. It wasn't complete nightmare for them. Moxie with 15 frags shows some very good aim. They had some good executions there. Got the bomb down 6 times in the T-half. Just couldn't outclass the SK side. And still, they're in the tournament. They'll play, I think, either Cloud9 or North next, which is not the most tantalizing prospect for them.
The other thing, we're finally away from the Swiss system, which at first, because it was something different, everyone loved, and now we've learned to hate. We go back to our groups.
Yeah, GSL format's back, and that will be the first game done. It will be Boots being taken down 16-2. And what do we think?
Good to know that you spent some time in the sun over the break, Henry.
This is all makeup. I'm just as pale as ever.
I know.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Oh, really? That was the thing.
That was the... Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm going to Greece next week, though.
Ah, yeah. I'm going to go to Montreal instead.
Yeah, so I might get some sun there. You never know. See what happens.
Okay.
SK looking very good there. Like we said, though, bad news for Boot there. They don't really get that much from that demo because SK are just pushing them every single round, right? And Furs underpass, pushing middle, falling in close range of the A round. That's not really a thing you...
They might... Yeah, that's... So that... Yeah, how do you assess that when there's going to be that much aggression coming in? They might look at some of their A executes and actually get something to work with. For example, the pistol round, they did get good smokes, but they had a gap in it. Yeah. They did find entries with Impression when he could get some space, but they weren't utilizing it enough with mid based on the fact that every time they went there, they got picked apart. So I think there's very, very minor things they could look at, but you're right, overall it's going to be pretty tough.
Well, that's all from us, for now at least. We'll do a couple more games while we're here, but Sue is ready on the floor with Taco, I believe.
I am here indeed. Thank you very much, Henry and Sadicus. Congratulations, Taco. Always great to start off with a solid first win at Malma. And first question for you guys. I know that you guys were the heavy favorites coming into this first match, but was there any worry at all that a similar situation like the loss against Tyloo would happen again last year?
Yes, of course we thought about this loss against Tyloo, but I think it was a lesson that we learned. We just played our game. We were really calm. It was the first match of the season for us, like official online. So we were really calm and we just did our job.
I know that SK has been ranked first for about 3 months now, but the last time we saw you was at the Major, where unfortunately you guys finished top 8. So how tough did the team take that loss, and were there any changes that you made because of it?
Before the Major, we won the last 3 tournaments. But so when we came to the Major, of course we wanted to win, but we lost in the quarterfinals. I have to say we lost to a great team as well. We lost to Astralis. So I can say that it's normal. It's not normal for us to lose. We are the team that are in the tournaments to win. But happens. Like it was not an upset. We lost to Astralis, and we were very happy overall because the last 3 tournaments we have won, and so it's fine for us.
Now, moving forward at this event, you'll be playing either North or C9. Now, both of those teams have been going through a lot of roster changes. North is a team that before this roster change, you were undefeated against this year. And Cloud9, you've kind of gotten back and forth with maps. So what are your thoughts on the changes?
I'm not in the team to talk about the changes. I think I think it's really important to change, but when you really need it. So I think they need it. That's why they made a change, and it's a good thing for them because we can't expect the way they are playing now. We don't know how they are playing. Yeah. So and like we have the same lineup, we have the same team, we have the same things. So they know everything we do, and maybe we don't know how they play, but let's just play the way we always play. Let's just do our job and let's try to win.
Well, thank you very much, Taco. I'm sure I'll be speaking with you guys a lot throughout this event, but for now, let's head back to Machine.
Taco said it there indeed. The first game kicking off their new season of Counter-Strike. SK take a convincing win versus Boot. Dreamscape, of course, a team that we don't know too much about, but they have come and have attempted to learn as best they can. Quite the tough opponent to kick things off. I've got myself Sponge, Vendetta, and YNK just to kind of, I admit, probably quickly, they can wrap this one up, put a bow on it. We said SK were going to win. SK won. The question I think that's more interesting, with which the cast has kind of started, Chad, was what can you learn from a loss like that? You know, you said 16-8, 69, so you've got a good demo to look through.
You don't learn a lot. What you learn very quickly is, hey, they're really, really sharp. Yeah. They have fantastic teamwork. No matter what we try and do, they're on top of us. For deciding to be aggressive every round is definitely a thorn in our side. And let's look at the next game, because you can't take much from that.
To be fair, Fer does do that versus some of the best in the world.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the issue. He's good enough to do it versus the best in the world, so when you go up against a lesser opponent, it's going to be just that more of an issue. Especially, it got to the point where, you know, Jason in the back room was saying, you know, oh, come on, Fer, let's let them play a little bit.
Just chill.
Yeah, because that's the issue that not so experienced teams run into, the fact that they don't know how to cope with it properly. Yeah, you saw like one round in particular where they actually set up passively, don't go for immediate mid control, and actually find 2 opening frags, but they kind of lose track of what they're supposed to do after that, because at that point they've deviated so far from their original plan that they don't really know what to do. So they have a 2-man advantage, but at the end, when they finally decide that they want to take it towards A, in the rotation of doing that, they lose 2 players to an aggressive Fallen, because SK at that point haven't really had any reason to take the foot off the pedal, so they're just going to keep steamrolling.
SK CT side is what we saw the most of, Yanko. Yeah. Now, I know we've been talking about it, and we'll probably continue to talk about it with Mirage, one of their best maps, if not the best map for them. Fallen's up on ramp, Phelps is pushing ramp, Fallen's up peeking Palace. I mean, this is stuff, this isn't necessarily a complete deviation from what SK would normally do on their defensive side.
Yeah, they just have such a great understanding of the map, you know, as a team and individually. Fer doesn't go for those pushes randomly, right? They understand, okay, how does their default look like? They throw the top mid smoke, but if they don't throw the Molotov, that means that they're probably playing passive or just setting up for an A execute, so then I can push underpass for info, get maybe one kill and or at least flank them, things like that. We saw Fallen play close-up ramp many times with the AWP simply because teams, it's very difficult to flash that player when he's playing so close up, even with those like bouncing off the wall stuff and all of that. And Fallen, because he's such a skilled player, he can pull it off. Not many players can play that close up with AWP and still be effective. So SK was just playing their own play style, their usual play style, and you know, Boot just, they're not on a level where they can basically cope with that.
Business as usual.
Outgamed is
yeah, that's just the way to put it, right? You can't do a lot against the best team in the world.
You really can't. 112th versus first in the rankings was a bit of a brutal affair for them to start off. There's still another best of one for both teams, of course. We'll be seeing what Boot are capable of later on in the tournament. For now, we venture into Group B. We're taking a quick break. It does start with a B, and then we come back. We'll be seeing NAVI taking on Virtus.pro. New look NAVI as well. Join us after the break as we get to see exactly what the new boys from the CIS region are capable of.
Season 7 was completely different because it was like, I was pretty much just full part of everything. The production, everybody, got to know people more. It was awesome. It was great seeing that, but not only just with like the love and getting to know people more and experiencing Sweden and all that, you get to watch some good Dota games, and the games progress over the seasons. They just get better and better, so I'm expecting Season 8 to be the same thing. It should be pretty awesome, and just more of the good stuff.
Like a goal gets the 5-man black hole! They're all dead! Vega, D1, oh my god!
I think Season 8, we're expecting bigger teams, bigger memes.
That way.
Oh, is that Slacks? Ooh. Slacks. Got some work to do. Friday's coming, and I'll be seeing you.
I think we've kind of proven ourselves over the seasons that we're a tournament that, you know, the teams are getting more and more interested in because it's such a fantastic ground to really test out strats, build yourself up before the big events, and now Dream League very much being one of those big events. And Season 8, it's going to be even bigger than Season 7. I can absolutely guarantee it's going to be something to look out for.
GA comes out in time. Can they keep Rezo alive? They can't. He's down once again for a full minute. Liquid finding 2 more. GG is called. Liquid are your Dream League Season 7 champions.
So from the bottom of our hearts here at Dream League, thank you all, because we will return yet again. We're still alive, and we'll be back again. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Dream League Season 8. Have a fantastic Dota-filled night. Good night.
digital video game for the iPhone, Android, and iPad. It's called Pocket Mortys. Look at all these little Mortys that you get to run around and collect. Mustache Morty, cat Morty, one eyeball Morty. This just seems really cruel. I mean, come on. What are you doing? It's free. It's a free game. It's not pay to win either. It's Pocket Mortys. Get over here and pick it up. It's a free game.
Win.sliver.tv. As you watch CSGO, you'll earn free coins. Pick the team you think will win and boost your bet. Earn more coins by answering trivia. Bet correctly to get raffle tickets. Win awesome prizes like CSGO skins, virtual reality headsets, and more. Play now at win.sliver.tv.
Yeah, to an extent, you see Cloud9 and you see glimpses of them and how great they could be with the old lineup. For example, the Pro League finals, obviously in Brazil, the tournament which they won, also the grand finals in Cologne. But I think the problem is they couldn't do it consistently. It was a matter of perhaps Stewie having to do too much in terms of not just in-game reading, but also having to have a lot of impact on the server. And with Shroud, always the streaming step. We need to upgrade these players and for us to have more impact in tournaments. I think that's definitely the case, especially with Rush. I think he's the player that's been hit the most by the instability in Optic, that his performance has dropped a lot. And he was one of my favorite NA players, similar to, for example, Rain in Europe, right? Not someone who is too flashy, but someone who is has great presence of mind, a very intelligent player, and gets the job done for the team.
Rush, this firepower, what's Tarek's role? I don't know how much of a joke it was, but on his stream he was like, oh yeah, we've got 4 secondary AWPers and 4 entry fraggers.
It doesn't hurt to be versatile, but it's just a mess, isn't it? Like, it's just what are the roles in this team?
Tell me, please.
I really like the fact that Stewie could be super aggressive as an in-game leader, go and find a lot of information on the T side on his own, because he's always going to get a kill. Yeah. It's Stewie we're talking about here. And then he could relay the information and the rest of his team could make a decision based off what he's done. Now you've got a lot of players who can all do that, you know, so I don't want to take that away from Stewie. That was one of his best assets. I don't know how they're going to gel. They've started in the Pro League really poorly. They've actually, they lost the map to NRG. They've had a bit of a rough time. It's not a fantastic start for this new team. It's just one of those wait and see what happens kind of scenarios, I think.
One thing that could be, I guess, an unexpected front where Tarek is actually going to help Cloud9 in is the strategical department, because this is the weird thing, and I never would have caught myself saying that, you know, if you go back, let's say 2 months, but that's because obviously Optic was a complete mess towards the end of, or ever since losing Standard Slaw, but towards the end of it, when they actually started to get at least some results here and there, have a couple of good games, that was apparently after they stopped fiddling around with trying to get Hayes to coach, Hayes to call while he was playing. And Tarek was actually the one doing some of the in-game leading. Obviously, how they found some advanced that was. Obviously, I think it's just going to be helpful in the sense that, yes, Stu is still going to be the in-game leader, but now, again, it's not only up to him in terms of what they can actually muster up, what kind of ideas they can spawn out of a rough situation. So Tarek can actually be helpful in that sense.
I know you're not convinced, Chad, but we are going to move on.
Okay. No, it's grasping at straws here, but you know, you got to try to find something
you're finding something, and I like that.
We have a shining light.
Yeah. There's so much more to be talked about, and that we'll get when we get those games rolling in, because we will start talking about today's games in just a moment. There is one final thing I think we have to cover now. Get it out of the way.
JZ Walkings?
I was going to actually move away from the rosters and actually start talking coaches, because we haven't got that much time, and I want to make sure that this gets said, because I know, Chad, in particular, you found this interesting. I'm sure everyone has. DreamHack have made some changes to the coaching rules.
The coaches can now talk in freeze times. The first 20 seconds of every round, the coaches can now make the shots. Exactly, and that's what a lot of teams have been wanting. I think this change is going to, enable a lot of coaches. If you look at LMBT from Mouse Sports, he's going to be one that's going to have a positive effect. The Cloud9 coach, he's Valence. He's going to also have a big effect, especially now with everything being new, and the way that this is going to, affect the way we see teams play could be very interesting. I know Threat would be happy about this change. It's one that I know that the players have wanted.
I think, and we'll just kind of final thoughts from you, Yanko, on the coaching change before we dig into those groups. Did you like this when you saw it? Just saw the fact that we're going to get a bit more control to the coaches?
Yeah, I loved it, because I think it's a great balance. Coaches get to do more with the time they have in freeze time now. You get to call the strategy that you want, give a few pointers to your players, what they need to watch out for. You're keeping track of the economy, you're keeping track of what's been happening in the previous rounds, but still the players are the ones who ultimately have to make the calls once play starts. They have to make the mid-round calls, they have to make the adjustments. So I feel it's a great way to give coaches a bit more impact, but still to keep the reins in the hands of the players.
A good balance has been struck, I think, seems to be the general consensus. We'll see how it plays out, though, because of course they haven't even had the first game. The first frag has not yet gone down here in DreamHack with the new rules and the new teams. We have got the teams for you, though. Let's bring up those groups. Of course, let's not forget, we do have SK here, who were the victors over in ESL 1 Cologne, which was the very start of the Intel Grand Slam. 4 events of the rolling 10 would bring you an extra $1 million in your back pocket. Masters, ESL 1s, IEMs, all of that good stuff, including the Pro League finals, all of which will provide a little mark next to your name. 4 of which, out of the 10, an extra $1 million. It's a fantastic idea, and we're going to be seeing if SK can go ahead and get 2 out of 2 here at DreamHack Masters Malmo. The groups, though, have already disappeared. I would love to hear what you're thinking about them. Sorry if I can summon them again. Graphics man, graphics magic, boom.
They're a bit sticky, aren't they? these groups.
They're a bit of an intriguing one.
I think Group A is probably the clearest cut, you would have to say,
Sure.
like on paper, in the fact that SK are the standout favorite there, and then North, based off what I've seen anyway, would be coming in at number 2, Cloud9 and the Singaporean team Boot. You know, that's just a bag of mysteries.
A bag of mysteries kind of ventures into Group B as well, however, because you've got Astralis, who we haven't talked about and probably didn't need to because no roster changes going up against
They've been rather boring. They actually did what we did. They disconnected from CS during the break. They actually didn't do anything at all, which I guess, you know, there's no reason to actually change a winning team. Obviously, it didn't have the success that they were wanted to during the major, but for the better part of it, I think Astralis are still on the right track in that sense. There's no real reason for them to shake things up. Then you have 2 massive question marks in VP and NAVI. VP, again, had a really good major, at least leading up to the semifinals, where they kind of disappeared mid-game, or mid-tournament. But you know, it's still way better than what I would have expected from them earlier. And then you have Renegades, who, again, I don't really know what to make of. And I'm not sure our fellow Australian knows either.
That's a question for not myself.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring you the rest of the groups and talk through them as well. I think with Group C, as we do return to us, Gambit as well. I mean, there is no, like, we have no idea what's about to happen when you take that leader away. You take that cog from the machine. We'll get to see them versus FaZe, NIP, and Mouse.
Yeah, now with 4 Kazakhstani players. I mean, who would have expected that a year ago? But Adren taking up the role of the in-game leader. He's been the star player of the team. You wonder, how is that going to impact his performance? Will he be able to do both at the same time? And Group C is probably the most unpredictable one. I would say any of the teams can move forward and get knocked out. We saw FaZe, even in best of ones at the major, not having too good of a record, and with the format here, that's all it takes. You lose 2 best of ones and you're out. And last but not least, Group D, a similar amount of unpredictability with the likes of Immortals. We heard rumors of changes happening there, despite their good run at the major. The new Fnatic lineup, we touched on that. Envious, who have been on a great run of form online, qualifying for everything, more or less, and then G2, another star-studded lineup. So I think Group C and D are definitely going to be the more exciting ones.
Absolutely explosive. I mean, even with that FaZe team, you got them FaZe going up against Mouse Sports. We didn't touch on, but they made changes as well. You got the exciting Finn, Sunny, you've got Sticko. We'll be talking about them when we come to them, because today's games are almost ready to kick off, and we can show you exactly what you have to look forward to as our first day does kick off. 2 streams running parallel, an A and a B stream. You're joining us here on the A stream, but will have Dust Moray and Vince guiding you through the games on that B stream. So as you can see, we'll be starting here on the left side. We have SK versus the Mystery, but what do you call them? A bag of mystery?
A bag of mystery.
A bag of mystery. It's Boot, Dreamscape. We have then Virtus Pro, NAVI, Immortals, Fnatic, and FaZe versus NIP. I think that's the one I'm most looking forward to for now. That'll be here at 5:30, thereabouts. And on the B stream, you have to look forward to, you get to see New Look Cloud9 taking on North. You get to see that French affair, G2 Envy, towards the middle of the day. And at the top of it, of course, we'll be kicking off with Astralis versus New Look Renegades. We'll see if that time off has benefited or cost Astralis. So much to look forward to, boys. It's good to be back, isn't it, Halvor?
It feels great. It's been far too long since we've seen some quality CS, and now we also get the added fun of seeing some new lineups come into fruition and see, you know, who's actually managed to mesh the best, and if they can actually bring it to the teams who actually haven't done anything at all.
Yeah. Well, we've introduced ourselves. I think it's time now to meet someone else. In fact, I met her for the very first time here last year as our very first DreamHack Masters Malmo kicked off. Smix is with us once again, and she's going to be talking to all the players. She's hanging out on the floor. Sue, it's been a long year. What have you been up to since this holiday started?
It has been a long year. It's crazy because I know that for you guys, it's been crazy left and right events back and forth and a lot of vacation for a lot of you recently. But the last time I saw you guys was actually at the last Masters event. So I'm so excited to be here with you guys again. It's nice to see you.
What are you going to be doing on that floor, Sue? We're going to be seeing the same old, getting to hear the players' thoughts?
Dance floor?
Well, big surprise, I will be doing post-match interviews and hopefully delving into their thoughts as to all the changes that have occurred and how they're meshing together. But just as an interesting note, as you guys were talking about all the roster mania that's been going on recently, I was thinking about the rosters that were in existence back at the last Masters event in Malmo, and it's crazy. So many changes have happened since then. Back then, Kerrigan was still in Astralis, which feels like a lifetime ago, and Zeus was still in NAVI, so I'm very interested to see what these new teams will be bringing to the table.
It has just been such a crazy year. 365 days of Counter-Strike, and so much has changed. Sue, thank you so much. We'll be back with you once the first games have done. She's going to go to the dance floor. If we should call it the dance floor.
Yeah.
She has to do a little dance move every single time. And we are going to take a little boogie to a break because we are going to get this first game underway. So do stay with us as DreamHack Masters Malmo 2017. Competitive Counter-Strike is back on the menu. We're jumping into your first game. You get to see how SK are looking and what the curveball from Singapore can do. Join us after the break as we kick into our first game. to be off the leash in this one.
Absolutely, and in the few games we saw them play in ESL Pro League, Simple, very mobile with the AWP, uses it more on the CT side than on the T side, which is the way you want them to go about it. He is not a pure opper when you think of the role, right? So with Zeus, Navi is a team that's perfectly capable playing without an op on the T side, just using strategies, using those set pieces, that methodical playstyle. On the CT side, it is necessary, certainly in some situations, on some maps more so than the others, but I'm very interested to see with time, obviously, how this Navi lineup will look like, because, you know, if it's possible to make it a Gambit with just more talent, well, then that's amazing. We saw what Gambit can do. Even when you don't look at the major, they've been consistently improving ever since Zeus joined the lineup. So with this team, obviously the ceiling is very high. The question is, will they be able to implement Zeus's ideas, and will there be cohesion in the team now that they've all been humbled a little bit?
Just to build on that from what Janko was saying, the whole thing with Simple in the team, he's not a main AWPer like a Guardian. You're not going to build a system around Simple because he's a sporadic individual and he's a sporadic player. The way that he approaches the game, he can get it done with any weapon, but you don't want to build your entire system relying on him picking up an AWP and having a good game.
In contrast to Guardian.
Where, yeah, you can actually say, this is what we're going to do, Guardian, you're going to hold this territory and make you find picks. Whereas with Simple, you don't need to do that because you can just put a rifle in his hands. He's going to be just as effective, if not more, from game to game. The problem with that is you're not always going to know what Simple you're going to get. But from what we've seen so far, he's the one who's leading the scoreboard for this squad and looking real good.
But what are the problems for them? That is, like, if you don't want to build your team around Simple, who is the best individual player on that side, who do you actually build your team around?
Do you have to? Do you think you have to build around a player?
I mean, I think to a certain degree you have to lean towards more some than others. I think even in Gambit, who again we hailed for being a perfect example of what team play can do and how doing things by committee can work out for you, they still lean towards players like Adren.
Yeah, but you look at the team that they're versing right now, VP. Who do they build their team around? They don't.
I was going to ask the same question.
No one really, right? So okay, Snax is the star, but Snax makes it happen himself. Don't you think?
I think it's interesting, and I do think that this maps will provide a little bit more insight as to where this one goes. It seems like the predictions are going to be 50-50. We'll get to them in a while, but bye-bye Cash, I'm sure.
Such surprise bans there from Navi.
Yeah, I guess that could have been interesting to see,
does something change?
New Navi.
Air quotes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Like new Navi, will they actually have a new approach, whether or not, they want to play Cash? Again, we talked about that in the past when they had Guardian on the lineup as well, the fact that the players themselves have every skill set to be a wonderful Cash team. It's just like they just refuse it. But we saw, Suze over in Gambit, they would play Cash.
Yeah, the problem is this is where Navi is at a huge disadvantage when it comes to the map pool. VP just has a deeper map pool, and I like the fact that they banned Train. I would also probably veto Mirage here as the last map, because for Navi, it's been Train and Mirage. It's been like good maps for them. Yep. Overpass, they seem to want to play it, but didn't have good results so far, and that's VP's veto anyway. So in the end, this is going to be a map on which Navi are definitely not going to be that comfortable on.
Inferno with new Navi. I guess the question then does have to start leading towards where on earth does this one go? Chad, I know you were jotting it down, but what was your kind of thought process to how you even try and find a prediction from these two?
For a map like this, I find it hard for VP to set the pace on the T side. Okay. They're one, on a nuke who are able to do a lot of set strategies like outside and fake off of that later, because you get a lot more territory, a lot of leeway in being able to do that. Whereas Inferno, if they're playing aggressive banana, they're locking you down mid, you've got Simple or somebody playing limbo around that boiler area, making it very difficult for you to get your territory and your ground to then do this at executes, you can have a rough time. Just depends on the VP we're going to see coming out of the gates here, and I'm hoping it's a fast one.
It did seem, but like towards the end or going into the major, that Inferno, people had kind of sussed out how Inferno was going to be played, right, Janko? People had discussed it. They were saying that if you've got double AWPs, then double AWP CT side is going to be something you see a lot of. Some people thought people were over-relying on that. What is your read now going into what has been a new season? Inferno seems to have been sussed out. It's been in the pool for a while now. What do you think has kind of been worked out, and what have we learned over the course of this Inferno?
I think teams have definitely at this point realized that you need to have banana control on the T side before you can do anything. Unless you want to go for a very fast A execute. You don't care about banana, you just want to go A, and it doesn't matter what's happening there. But a lot of teams on the CT side, they take banana control, they leave one player there to play for info, and then they rotate the fourth player towards A. And in that type of a scenario, it's very, very difficult to enter the A bombs. It's simply too many players, too many angles you need to watch out for, and that extra man really makes a big difference. So it's about finding that dynamic where you don't get picked out early, maybe by an op, and you don't take too much damage by the grenades or the incendiaries from the CTs. You need to find good timing to go for that banana control and apps control, make the CTs unable to to go for that gamble, and they have to play it fair, so to speak, and have 2 players committed to that B bomb site.
And I think that's something we've seen teams do actually more and more. Obviously, they realize the importance of Banana, but they also have realized the ease that they can actually take control over apartments nowadays on the new version of the map.
On the T side?
Yeah, on the T side compared to, because everything is just so narrowed down, and with the removal of bedroom and apps and everything, it really limits what kind of options you have as a CT if you want to play aggressive. And again, getting stocked in or locked into a site, that can work. You can set up very good defensive crossfires, but oftentimes that's much easier done if you have 4 players. And again, if a T side is doing a good job of actually putting pressure on towards Banana, you can't have that cheat rotation as a CT. So you have a very big chance of getting locked in, wrapped around from Arch side, depending on how the T set up their attack on the A bomb side, due to the fact that they're given apps control easy. So I've been looking forward to seeing what kind of team is actually going to be able to kind of set the pace on the CT side. Not so much towards Banana as we've seen in the past, but actually doing something about the easy T control that's given for apps.
Yeah, then that's my next question. As we have got a slight PC malfunction, we're going to have more time to explore it. So hold fire on your predictions. No, I'm excited because we get to talk about Inferno, because I have a lot of questions from Newbie Machine.
Okay.
CT aggression.
Yes.
So you've talked about it. You guys have made it clear that maybe apps is more difficult for the CTs. But we also always talk about CTs taking aggression and how that can be beneficial. So an aggressive peek down Banana, there's always mollies, there's always HEs, you can't do that. Do you peek middle? Do you just take that fight? I mean, where do you get that first blood? Where do you cut the Ts down early?
The reason Banana is so important is you have to fight or contest at least for control, and either feign that as a CT. And the reason is you don't want to give it up for free, because then they can just walk up Banana with all utility, taking no damage and full execute in a 5-on-2 situation.
Sure.
It's also great for information, as well as that being able to say, hey, they're not coming here early. You can leave one man aggressive with an AWP. You can do things like that. But the way to counter it is if a team, you know their rotations. When they do an aggressive Banana, you know that maybe they lean an extra player over. So when the smokes and Molotovs come in, you can just do a fast play up middle with maybe a set pop flash, overwhelm the 2 A players, and take that bomb site quite quickly.
Tendencies is what you're saying.
Exactly, and you have to look for that. But when you have the new faced NAVI, it's very difficult for VP to look at tendencies of something which doesn't even exist yet, which they wouldn't really have had a big chance to say, this is what they do, this is how they play. But on the flip side of that, NAVI have all that arsenal of footage to look at.
I think for the CTs right now, especially when it comes to tier 1 teams, it's not about early aggression, it's about mid-round aggression, right? You have to go for those grenades on the CT side in Banana early, because it's so easy to do damage and it doesn't cost you anything, right? Except the 300 you need to buy it. So after that, you should concede Banana control, and then the pop flashes. We saw a great way to contest it from G2. They throw a smoke next to the wall in front of the car that cuts off vision for the teams that are playing deep Banana. They throw a Molotov from the side that also bounces off the skybox, falls in the car, so that flushes out the player who's maybe in an anti-flash position. They pop flash, and then they clear it out. So if there's any players behind that wall towards the bomb site, they are basically going to die. I mean, that's the thought process behind it. It's things like that, especially against a team like NAVI, who is going to be spread around. They're going to have players in apartments, in Banana as well. Not too many of them at either place, but someone to play for information and to have control. So that type of mid-round aggression is something that can work very well against teams who like to take map control and spread around the map.
So even if you have, you've gained Banana control. We've said it's a necessity on the T side. You're not impervious to a mid-round push. You have to keep them on their toes. They can't just sit there and start lining up their nades with various pixels. There's that always fear of.
That's the most difficult thing to execute on the CT side. Is that finding the right timing to go for that, to get them, when they're in a position and they're setting up, and not actually waiting for a play like that from your side.
I actually think this is a map where a player like Simple will have a hard time on the CT side being able to have a lot of penetration unless he can be aggressive, because if you just go to the other bomb site, these are 2 of the hardest bomb sites to retake in all the maps we have in Counter-Strike, especially that A1 with that new angle in pit, playing under the balcony as they push in from mini pit side. It's such a good angle, and I think if you're locking Simpler and if he's just transitioning over the map and you're lucky to have the reads to avoid him, he's the main man to look out for, right? And he's the one that we've seen the best from in recent days of NAVI.
Now, you always talk, actually use Cobble as an example before, Chad, but you'd always talk about that rotator job. On the CT side, usually the same person has that responsibility of you wait for the comms and then you commit, right? You are going to be an additional arm in that fight. Who would you put on in that role? I mean, who is the best suited for that kind of position? Do you want to put Simple? You want to lock Simple out of that, or you just slap him on a site and say, hold it?
There's different approaches for it, right? Like when I was in the team, I always liked to do that role because I knew the setups that were going as the in-game leader, and I was making reads and calls based off the information that was coming in. Yeah. But sometimes teams put their best player in that position. If you look at Cobblestone, you look at SK, they put Coldzera as the window side drop player.
So he can always be present and aware.
And he can always have that influence in one of the hardest positions to play on that map. On this map as well, the jungle side or the arch side, whatever you want to call it, I don't think it has the same level of importance as, say, like a drop on cobblestone. Like, you can probably just put your AWPer there. That's what teams tend to do, right? Sure. But it has to be a player who understands the need to get information and know when to play the rotation. So someone with a bigger brain, not a peanut brain.
Not the peanut brain.
Well, I think you could actually get away with, potentially putting a peanut brain there as well. Depending on
you have someone just shouting at him, go, rotate, stay.
Exactly, depending on how much of a leadership presence you have in the team at that point. So, and again, not saying that there's a peanut brain on Navi or VP by any means, but let's say you put your best player in Navi's situation in that rotation spot. You have Simple. The benefit of it is obviously you're going to have a potential, or a player who has the potential of shutting down an entire bomb take from your opponents before you get into that super awkward after plant position, because it's like you mentioned, retaking that A bomb site with the new on the new map, and B is just obviously if you don't have the utility for it, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah,
but that A bomb site, especially if you get locked out of it, it's pretty much a safe bet that you're better off saving. Exactly, and that you have that super fun call out.
Save.
Everyone sighs. Everyone's like looking at a corner and spawn. Like, come on. Then.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of having that, when you have Simple being the first man on site to help out whatever bomb site it might be, he could get the one kill or that multi-kill that actually loosens things up or delays the bomb plant. That could be the entire difference of a round. So I think you could be okay with that, even though he might not necessarily be the guy who makes the most solid decisions on his own. If he has Zeus, again, like you said, getting all the information from his players at that point, he can still make that decision for Simple at that point to be like, okay, it's like you're running off here.
If I'm Zeus, I want them to make that decision themselves. Like, do you need me?
Well,
do you not?
Yeah,
it's a conversation. It's a dialogue.
But again, you have to realize as an in-game leader what the strengths and weaknesses of your teammates are. So if you know that's one of the very, very few places that Simple lack as a player, you kind of realize that, well, if I can do that tiny part for him, and that just, again, sends him into another dimension as to how good he can be, then you take that hit.
Sure. Well, I mean, we are getting towards this game now. Janko, I'm going to give you the chance to kind of voice after this brainstorm of Inferno. This has been great, by the way, guys. Kind of closing thoughts, and I do need a prediction because we do have this. Oh, can I show it again, Chad?
Just be careful when you put him up. We need to work on his fragility.
Okay, so this is what we're all predicting for, the winner of which will get their face placed upon the head. Janko, what are you saying?
I think you always want to put your star player in a position where he can do the most, like where there's a lot of action. On Inferno, that's not Arch, that's Banana. I think in this game, unfortunately, with the way these two teams are, I just think that Navi individually is going to be better than VP. I think Simple is going to have a great game. I think Navi is going to take this one.
Okay, one for Navi. You writing these down, Chad?
Yes,
you are
on top of it.
For that.
I'm all on top of it.
We're all 100% so far, but Halvor, you're going to join the Navi train?
I'm going to join the Navi train.
How so?
Well, I mean, I even have 3 reasons for it.
You do? Oh, yeah. Drop them for me. Halvor with the 3 reasons.
I do. No, so obviously it's a new look Navi, but one thing that's just right off the bat is that Navi actually might have found their identity at this point with Zeus coming back into the lineup. That's going to be a massive thing for them. Pretty much ever since Zeus went out of the lineup, Navi have kind of looked flustered. They haven't really had a good idea of what their end goal is a lot of the time in tournaments, and that's why we see them falter. Zeus coming back into that, I think that might be able to sort it out. In addition to that, we know that his previous team, Gambit, was an excellent Inferno team. So whatever experience and wisdom he's picked up from that stint, I think he's going to bring that onto Navi as well.
Okay.
And second of all, this is something Janko already mentioned. Simple is going to be unleashed. And again, even for a player as Simple who can thrive in pretty much any situation, having a system around you never actually hurts. So the fact that he can always rely on where his teammates are, and in addition to have that kind of unpredictability that he's known for, it's going to be a hassle for VP to deal with, and I think we're going to see Simple have a great game on Inferno as well. And third, a bit of a curveball here. Hopefully, the resurgence of Seized. Seized obviously have been sat on the bench for about 2 days and then coming back into hopefully having warmed up. I think with him having the less pressure on him, doing the in-game leading and whatnot, and the role with Zeus coming back into the lineup, I think we're going to see quite the bit of a performance boost on his end. That's what I'm hoping for.
No performance issues.
For Navi.
No performance issues for Seized.
No performance issues. Well, we do have the stamina of Henry G.
That's true.
Yeah.
Can't be matched.
Drop it, Chad. Are you going to break the trend?
Yeah, I'm going to go with VP.
Okay, now I do need just a brief reason as to why.
I think I really like what they were bringing to the table just in the lead up to the major. They had a lot of good executes and stuff. I think coming into this, they're going to be hungry, and I have a lot of faith in the old boys.
Faith in Virtus Pro, and I get to play this game as well.
Yeah,
right?
You got a prediction.
You guys have sold me on Navi. I'm going to join the. I'm going to get sheep.
So it's just me and Jacob going
just
for
you
VP.
and Jacob going for VP. Oh, he's voted as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, these are the predictions. It looks like we're going to be catching up, but we do have Halvor's given us 3 reasons why Na'Vi are taking this one. Yanko believing that Simple's going to have a fantastic game and actually believes he should be implemented into Banana. Make the plays. We know that that is a crucial focal point. Get your potassium on Inferno. Outside of that, Chad, the only one going for the Virtus Pro boys. It's going to be a question of which VP shows up. I'm very bored of saying it, but it is still relevant. And that is all we need to say at the desk. We do have some other faces to introduce to you now as well. Back in the driving seat of the casting couch. Gentlemen, what's going on in the casting world?
Not much. Couch. Yeah, we're not on the couch at all. Okay. Like the driving reference, though. That was a good try.
I tried. It wasn't my best.
You know, I figured out that there's another caster involved in that trophy that you didn't mention.
Yeah?
Well, it's a big black thing sticking into its butt, holding it up. So,
who
well, I don't know. I'll let you figure that one out. But
okay, thank you.
Listen, guys, I have to say, I think this match could go Virtus Pro's way. I know I'm not in the whole game for the trophy.
Sure.
But you know, roster changes and there's stability in this. Bringing Simple back into the primary op, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it all unfolds.
Henry's a bit of a Zeus fanboy, no?
Yeah.
Am I? I do think Navi are going to win this one. We've been able to cast them a few times in Pro League recently. They're looking decent up and down, I would say. They have some inconsistencies, but I think Simple on the AWP actually looks really, really good right now. Seas does seem like he's playing a lot better, generally speaking. Like, he's not in-game leading anymore, obviously. So I'm going to put my money on Navi, but Virtus Pro, I have to agree with Alex. You never really know what they're going to do at a tournament.
That's the hard
part. It's a little bit difficult to say, but yeah. I hope both teams turn up and we have a very good game of Counter-Strike. That's all I can say.
Very political.
Yeah, nice. So you stay on that fence then, Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to leave you guys to it. You enjoy yourselves, because I know I'm excited to see if we get a full 30 rounds.
Just to clarify, Alex, he's not on the fence. He's 51.4% over it or whatever it was.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to go with Navi.
Okay.
Basically.
All right.
So there it is.
That was a Brexit reference.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
good,
there you
good
go.
job.
Guys, just in case you missed that one.
Inferno. My favorite map to cast, I would say. It's very fun.
You do like it. I think it's up there for me. I think the new Inferno has really opened up a lot. I like new Banana, I have to say. It's much cleaner, much better. It plays better. The CT's being able to boost, being able to shoot through the wall. T-sided. It's still a challenge to get Banana control, but there's not the deep smoke the CTs can throw anymore, so they can actually get in close on the right side. I think there's a little more you can do there.
Yeah, it's one of those maps as well. VP back in the other iterations of it, I guess, the previous one to this, we're actually very, very good at the CD side, especially with their utility usage, and that's one of their key traits. And hopefully we'll see that today going forward. I can see right now that it will be Virtus Pro starting on the T side to kick things off, and of course Navi on the CT side here. And here we go. Oh, it is a knife, so don't get too excited. Maybe that was complete nonsense from me.
I remember a knife.
I've done this about 10 times last year. Oh, which one?
Well, that was the one. The one.
That's right.
You have no idea how many people come up to me and say, like, friends from home or whatever, they'll be like, man, I was like on YouTube the other day. Man, is that like, you talk that fast all the time? I'm like, no, actually, that's not what I do, but...
Yeah, one of my friends saw it recently as well. His reaction was, how is he talking that fast? How is he managing to do that?
It's not that, but my point is, yeah, okay, that's one thing, but it's like, that's what people, like, if they don't know me or don't know Counter-Strike and look me up, everyone just thinks that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, that's not all I do, guys. But yes, I did do that once.
But you are very good at it. That was probably the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, over a year.
Well, there we go. Maybe we bring it back. We'll see. We'll see how your mood goes for the tournament. If you're feeling up for it.
Yeah. The end. I'm a bit of a grouch.
Well, Virtus Pro do win the knife, and they will start on the CT side. So we'll see what happens there. And for now, Navi working things out. The problem is on the T side of Inferno, yes, Simple is the main AWPer. He won't have that much opportunity on the T side. Sure, you can bring it out every now and then. It doesn't have as much impact, I don't think, as to compared to the CT side. But the thing is, obviously, he's a very, very good rifler as well. That's not going to hinder them too much, and we'll be getting into this one, ladies and gentlemen. Second game of the day for us on the A stream. The first one, a little bit underwhelming. SK versus Little Booties, and didn't really go that well for them. This should be a very competitive game indeed, though.
This should be, I think, this is a world-class game. This is a playoff-worthy game in most situations, again.
Sure.
I'm bored of it as well. I got so bored of it once I said that they were doing some speculative things if they show up.
You did say that, I remember. Wow, C's, one smoke, 2 flashbangs here in terms of the CT setup. 3 towards Banana, of course, no HEs to use, but Pasha and Neo aggressive, trying to find the first pick. But C's and Simple holding towards the T steps here. Not going to give much away, but Neo all the way towards that Logs position. And they're going to push a little bit further here as well.
You know, push further, gets between two of them. Where's the fight with Simple? Where's the repush from the player at the bottom of the stairs? It finally gets in as Edward wraps back around to find Bialy. Zeus will eventually get Neo down, but he sat there and had free shots at Simple for a good amount of time before they could respond. They wanted the top of alt mid first. Edward goes back around at Snacks that has to pull all the way over from the B site, join them on A.
Bomb has been planted.
Oh, bomb down. He's not going to have much of a chance. Does have a kit, no armor. Smoke as well.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling his chances just yet. Unfortunately, it will be Edward to take him down. Quite the clean sweep there from Navi. A very aggressive approach there from Virtus Pro at the very beginning. We did see 3 players get towards the bottom of Banana, but mowing them down was Edward. 3 kills for him in total. Zeus and Seized joining in as well. It's quite an interesting tournament. It's the first one since the break, really, and we have got 7 teams here with new rosters since the player break. That's always going to be quite exciting. Obviously, Navi, one of those, Virtus Pro certainly not. This is the longest-standing CS:GO roster of all time. Maybe even further than that. We should be up there.
It might be any esport ever. It's almost 5 years. Is 5? I think it's 5 years this fall.
What, this 5?
Yeah.
This 5 people? No. Like, they weren't Taz and so Bialy and Snacks weren't there at the beginning.
So it's 4 years this fall.
I think it's 3.
No, it's definitely over 3.
Is that?
Yeah. That's
well,
okay. So I think it's 4 years this fall.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, for now, 4 Spy from Virtus Pro, CZ's Deagles, and a 5-7 for Neo as well. That has been nerfed, if you will, or modified, I guess I should say. It's better at close range spamming now, but drops off somewhat at range.
Yeah, because I remember a tournament in 2014, the first ESEA LAN I ever did. Unfortunately, Snacks' father got in a car accident just before he was supposed to travel over and wasn't there. That was when they had this exact roster still.
Right.
So that was fall of 2014. That was actually, I think, June of 2014. So that would be more over the 4-year mark.
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway. More on that later.
I'm sure we'll be corrected.
1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, a couple of kills for Flamey there with the UMP. They'll go towards Banana. Why not? But the remaining Virtus Pro players are there. The CZ, very deadly at close range, finds 1 kill, but that's all they'll find. Clean sweep for Navi there. 1 player goes down. That's simple, but looking quite comfortable. Just remember as well, that was the 4 Spy from Virtus Pro, so keeping 4 players alive in those sort of situations is very good indeed. Virtus Pro have to take the full eco now. 2-0 for Navi. Zeus, of course, back in the lineup. Obviously, got a great amount of legacy within the Navi organization. Just won the major with Gambit and left straight away back to Navi. I feel like Navi definitely have the highest skill ceiling, I guess, but it's such a strange concept that he'd win the major, the thing he wanted to do so much, and then he just leave the team. Obviously, there were issues before the major coming into it, so a bit of an anomaly in terms of the route they got, and I doubt they would ever be able to replicate that ever again. But still, quite cool for Zeus to actually pull it off and fall back to his former organization.
Yeah, the organization by which he was home to from 2009 until he was removed late last year. Bit sad, the Gambit story. Could continue with the same lineage, but it's Zeus and Flamey that will continue on into the B site. Take down 2 kills, back off immediately. There's no need to walk into the rest of the stack. They've got it figured out. Bomb's way down toward the T stairs, by the way. Zeus is running back. They've already got an A. No one's gone for the bomb. Zeus has got to be a bit careful. 15 HP. He goes down. Pasha now has the line of sight toward where the bomb is, but Simple's there on the AK, and they'll wrap around and just do this on kills. Edward makes sure of it. 3-0 Navi.
So, a couple of SMGs being saved as to the first gun round. He's 4 spying the second there. I think they can potentially bring out an AW if they wanted to. They definitely could have done, but it would have been a glass cannon. Neo yet to buy armor, so maybe he's going to float with that idea. I don't think he can afford one. He goes for an MP9. Of all the weapons, he had like $4,400. He went for the MP9.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on board with that. You're up against AKs and armor. Fur did it last time, but he carried it over and made it work.
So he went for obviously the incendiary, the smoke, the HE, the kit. They didn't have a kit to work with, so I guess he wanted to boost their chances of winning this round in that respect. But still, Bialy no head armor. He's the only player about it, to be fair, so it's not a huge issue, but they are lacking utility across the board. They have got 3 smokes remaining here, no incendiaries, and a couple of flashbangs to work with here. So I feel like they have to work hard for the first bracket. We'll see what they decide to do. It will be Neo and Bialy, of course, towards Banana. Simple and Seized, trying to obtain some real estate on the map by pushing up towards the top there, nading the corner, pushing any CTs back that could be waiting on the other side.
Four in hand for Bialy to bait them in toward Neo. If that MP9 is going to work, that's how it's going to have to work. Ward holds next to the pillars.
Yeah, we've got decent mid control now from the Navi side. They still have 4 smokes to work with here. We know Zeus's playstyle. Get map control, slow-paced game, execution, stays that 5-man unit. Sometimes runs the clock out. We have seen that a lot in online play since he's joined the roster. They've had a few rounds timeout, but this is looking quite good. Players towards quad and towards the apartments area. Flamey there by himself. Here comes the final commitment. VP to hold.
Oh, Taz so close to seeing above that smoke. Their steps too close. Inches away from being spotted, but they're still lining up. Taz, good damage back through the ends of the hay bales as he falls inside of the pit. Snacks gets the kill on Flamey instead. It's Navi that's going to have to back away. Timeout with only 1 left. Zeus makes the decision to try and save. On an AK-47, and VP on the first gun round will pick it up easily as well. All 5 players staying alive.
Yeah, Virtus Pro, going a bit of a lifeline there. Now they'll be able to get the full buy into the next round. Number 5 coming up here. They'll get the incendiaries, the smokes, the HEs. Neo probably stays on the MP9. Don't want to be throwing money away. But here's the opening frag there from Snacks. And then Taz doing a good job. Didn't really see that pressure, I have to say. Once the final commitment came in from Navi, I was expecting more of an execution-based play there. A few smokes deployed. But generally speaking, Virtus Pro not giving a single kill away. They'll actually be in the driving seat. But simple. Did speculate as to how much we would see it. Brings out the AWP. In round number 5 here, it's difficult to have any sort of mid-round impact with this weapon. It's great for opening the map up and trying to shut down any aggression from CTs, but once you get to the kind of 1-minute mark, it's difficult to see much more than 1 kill for the AWP. Sure, if they get that 1 kill, it's great, but it's not as kind of weapon you can be the superstar on the T side, and did get a shot there from Simple, doesn't quite connect. It will still be a 5-on-5, bomb down towards the bottom of... Just trying to push those CTs back. Virtus Pro are more than happy to be passive towards middle, or teams like to just set up the crossfires and work as a unit on the A side.
25th of January 2014, this roster started to exist.
Okay, there you go.
You're welcome. I figured that out on my own. Just kidding, Ben tweeted me. Edward, good shot, takes down Snacks. Taz again at the pit. He looks to be the one to anchor it. This time they're a lot closer and know exactly where he is, so Edward finds his second on the way through. Zeus, default smoking in front of the library. Flash thrown through it as well, just to deter Bialy from any future movement. For forward advance, that is, toward the bomb site. His future movements will all be back away toward B, because M4, valuable. 3 players already hunting down at the bottom of Banana, though, so I imagine this will still go to an exchange.
Big round there from Navi to pick up there. 4 players surviving as well. It will be the harsh reset for Virtus Pro, but they say the 1 weapon they should be able to get a reasonable buy. It won't be perfect, but they have got, average about $3,500. So a buy available, I think this is the only take a partial there. I think he was going for 5.7s, deagles perhaps, and some body armor. Here's the opening kills there from Edward and co. Actually looking at he's got so much space to work with there. The fact he's not really being pincered in or flashed off or anything there. Quite an easy run towards the A side. Much different story than the previous round. And indeed, it is a little partial buy here. Not even that, I guess. This would be a full eco. A couple of PT-50s and flashbangs, a smoke. That's about it. Neo goes aggressive towards middle. Spotted, though. Down to 74 HP. Takes a shot through the smoke there. They are pushing down towards second middle. 3 CTs here, so a chance to do something. But Flamey ready and waiting. He finds 3 kills, trying to find the 4th, but unfortunately that'll be Snacks and CT spawn. So not really much he can do with this situation. A nice idea there from VP, pushing down with the smoke and getting 3 players in second middle. They had a flashbang to work with there, so if there was any sort of T presence there and not hiding in a corner like Flamey was, they might have been able to pick up a kill, but not meant to be this time. It will be 5-1. Great start from the new look Navi side.
New look Navi. First pro with just Snacks well back inside of the spawn. Trying a cheeky frag on the PT-50 and pick up a gun. Best case scenario. They're smart, they'll go back and witch the way they came because no need to give away any guns knowing that he doesn't have any investment at all.
Well, they will get a decent buy next round, Virtus Pro that is. Snacks is normally main AWPer on this particular map. Obviously, Pasha usually picks up the team. I think Snacks is a bit of an Inferno specialist, especially towards that banana area as well. Very aggressive. Likes to go for the first picks and be set up by himself at the barrel position at top of banana. Once he's there, it means they can have 4 players towards that A bomb site. So we'll have a look as to whether that's going to be a possibility. Is the money on the screen right now. Snacks with 3 grand. He'll get 1,900 on top of that. So it won't be the best of buys, but he can bring out the AWP if required. So 49.50. Taz has 6k. He could drop one. So maybe that's the play. So yeah, Taz buys the AWP. Drops it over to Pasha. So they won't be going for that hyper-aggressive playstyle. Pasha would usually AWP towards middle. That's when they want to mix things up. Snax to get towards the B site. Taz with no armor though. Oh, there it is. Body armor coming in at the end. A few smokes to work up here. No kits. A bit of an issue. Let's see if Pasha can open things up though. Like I said, normally heads towards mid. Won't be going for the T-steps pick. Just hoping someone will run past his crosser there as he changes up to second middle.
Pasha backs toward the arches on the AWP, still for Simple. He's waiting in mid for a re-peek. No one will. What it does do, though, him having that angle of that information, just simply holding it, allows Edward and Flamey a bit more confidence outside of Boiler to work into the apartments. No one can enter that doorway and push them back, therefore. At least not so easily, not without wrapping through quad, where Edward now has his stance covered. NAVI, you're right, with Zeus back at the helm.
Yeah.
Slow things down.
Oh, for sure. This is his bread and butter. Getting map control, pushing CTs back.
Interestingly, Henry, bread and butter is also rather boring.
Yeah, it is. Quite delicious at the same time.
It depends on the bread and the butter,
Bit of salt on there.
Garlic?
Yeah.
Garlic bread's not bad. Maybe even get some cheese in there.
Well,
that's what I want, some NAVI cheese.
Well, we might have an execution. Not sure about cheese. They're going to be throwing smokes in towards the B site. Molotovs will be deployed as well. Here they come. Flashbangs coming through. Let's see how on point this final play is from NAVI. 20 seconds to go. And they will be leading the charge right now. Edward to try and find the first pick.
Good find from Neo. Traded by Seized. Smoke boost in play, and they don't check that, but doesn't hit the shots. Bialy has to hit those.
Wow.
Absolutely. Two in front of him with their backs turned. And somehow Simple turns the AWP fast enough. Pasha can't land a shot back in. Second try does get Seized. Tagged down to 36. He'll sit in a 2 versus 2 with bomb already planted as well. Flamey and Simple can fall back. Orange is 2 for Flamey. He'll watch the Ruins entrance. Simple, meanwhile, with the AWP, has found himself some space and distance to watch the entrance from CT. So they're confronted on entry no matter what. Simple hits the first task. Good trade on Flamey as he baits out off the opening shot from Simple. But it's still the time and the angle in favor of Simple, and he makes it work.
That was such a nightmare situation. As we said going into that round, they had no kits to work with, right? So even if you try and be intelligent with the clutch, it's almost going to be a guaranteed loss for them. Simple holding the tight angle. Hits the first one. 1v1 is almost an instant win at that stage. Here's the first lovely shot. Dodges the flashbang. Takes down Pasha. Then Taz just knew he was out of it. Touched the bomb, but as soon as he touches it, Simple takes him down. Lovely work. And there will be a technical pause coming in here. I think we've lost Snax. He's jumped off the server. But 6-1 in favor of NAVI.
Snax called the pause himself before leaving, so... Keyboard still works, Henry.
Oh, what's that in reference to?
Nothing, I'm just saying he called...
Oh, I see what you mean. Right, yeah. I thought I was getting something from the major or something. I was kind of thinking when...
oh, yeah, we did have it.
Yeah.
No, it ultimately was completely irrelevant, but I just thought I'd let you know.
No, it's good. I understand what you're doing now.
Okay.
But Snax is back on the server. They're saying now we can go. I like this. I like the tournaments where we can see the chat. I think that's where you get the spiciest of insight. You can see what they're talking about, whether they're calling people out. It's good. Some of it not safe for broadcast.
It's true. 99% of it.
But at least I know what's going on. This will be an eco from Virtus Pro. That's not going too well for them so far. They picked up round number 4 for being completely shut down ever since then. So this one will have an HG grenade, some PD-50s, and a deagle for Taz. In terms of frags right now, Pasha's on 4. He's top fragging after 7 rounds. Not looking too promising as of yet, but UMP for Flamey, he's always been very good at tracking the economy and mowing them down with these SMGs. Like to get up close and personal, of course. Simple on the AWP so far. I said they wouldn't have that much impact on the T-sub. Proving me wrong, looking very sharp, hitting all the shots. And I guess this is the role he's always wanted to be. When he joined NAVI, you could see when he first joined, right? The double orb setup came out every single time. He wanted to be on that orb as much as he possibly could.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right, Taz.
Taz actually messed up, hit the wall on his jump, and then turned around and just took Edward down. That was quite good. Quite bad, but quite good all at the same time.
We got the opening pick. Pasha's on 1 HP. Taz 39, but Simple now picks up the AK-47. Runs in towards quad by himself, and Taz finds another kill. Takes down Seized.
Looking all right with the deagle. Till Simple found him with an AK, having given up the AWP, given the situation. You're exactly right in saying that he did want to play this role. Good find, Bialy. More pistol damage, more to work with. Pasha, corner, 1 HP, simply found, simply put down, so too is Bialy. 7-1. But even when he was on Liquid, he loved to pick it up.
Yeah.
And they had Kusta. He even liked to steal it from him at Malmo last year.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is as well, they have to be careful. He's definitely a very aggressive, volatile AWPer. Magnificently talented, don't get me wrong, but in terms of traditional AWPing sense, he needs to have a balance between that really crazy flamboyant style and then kind of reining it in when he has to, like pulling it back when he's holding defensive lines, which I'm sure he'll be fully aware of, and we'll see that develop as he continues his time here in NAVI. He said this is the organization he wants to stay in for the rest of his career, which is what a promising thing to say if you're one of the NAVI owners, having one of the most talented players wanting to stay within your organization.
Yeah, it's quite good. It's quite good. Drop his pay, put it to the test. You can get a discount, is all he said to you.
Well, Pash is back on the AWP, but it's another rough buy here, Matt. 3 players about head armor, and that's bad news considering Flamey's still got that UMP. We have 1 kit to work with here, but we do have the utility this time. Pasha towards quad with the AWP. Backed up as well, player above him, boosted up. I believe that is Taz, it is indeed. And there will be some banana control coming in from the T side for now. Bialy trying to hold them at bay here with flashbangs. Ooh, Simple taking him down. That's an easy frag as well. That flashbang's poor. It's not going to hold anyone off towards that logs area, and now headshot is Neo. They'll be aware. They don't fully commit just yet, but they could just force a rotation and head back towards A.
Neo getting tagged up on 15 is the only one left. It'd be that will force a rotation back toward B, absolutely right, so they can read it and go the other way themselves. The only thing they might have been slightly cautious of was running in and having a crossfire set from an early player on rotation, having the first exchange already gone down, but it's a good read. Back over they go. Snacks will have to try and make his way through CT to rejoin Taz, who's going to try and play in behind his smoke rather than Pit. This gives him a bit of an angle if the timing is in his favor, because remember, that smoke dissolves. But he could take down a player pushing through it or catch apartments on the off angle. Back inside of the site, though. Blinded up, spots the headshot, does take down Zeus, and what a shot to find seized. Bomb dropped inside of the pit. You're right, 5 seconds, Simple can do nothing with it. He's got to back off. Neo and Pasha survive. AWP step on either side, but it's the second round for Virtus Pro.
It's Taz stepping up there. That's what we needed after having that interesting exchange towards the banana area as well. It seemed like NAVI had the perfect cue to make their way towards the B site. Opted to fall back here, but Taz mows him down. Much needed frags there from the captain of the side. Time was running down there as well. So Simple, given maybe an extra 15 seconds, could have done something with it. Wasn't meant to be though, but still not out of the woods just yet. But it's Pro need to start getting multiple rounds in a row here. I'd say 2 or 3 just to stabilize their economy with significant wins as well, like keeping 4 players alive. Orb still in the hands of Pasha. Haven't seen that for Snacks yet. I'm sure it will happen. It's definitely a viable double Orb map. 2 kits this time to work with. Simple, of course, saving the weapon the previous round. He has got the NAVI to work with here as well. Neo boosted up on first oranges. Could be an A-side attack. No presence towards B whatsoever, Matt. So this suggests that something quite quick comes in. The next 30 seconds, I think they'll make their final play towards the A site. So they've got no one looking towards that banana area.
So set for Smoke's execution. This is kind of cheesy. You're thinking cheesy means like cheesy as in like kids movie? This is what I'm gonna get for cheese from Navi as they walk in. Look at Taz shutting them down, though. Simple gets back into him. And Pasha's already got the information queue relayed to him that they're gonna be wrapping onto the quad. Pasha's able to get Flamey. Simple 1v4, what do you reckon?
Well, they've already called a timeout before he has a chance to win this one, so they're not feeling too confident.
Oof, he's got one.
I think Zeus called it, so it suggests that the execution wasn't exactly spot on. But Simple, still within this one with 30 seconds. Keeping in, she will take a mile.
I think you could say the execution was quite lackluster because they left quad wide open and walked into it.
They didn't have any flashes or molotovs towards that direction, and Taz used the old crab walk spray.
Ooh, this could be interesting because does he spot near the boxes? The gun sticking out from Snacks, who gets the better of him, but nearly found time to do so. A new Taz hat. They finally gave him one that is Virtus Pro colored because he always wore his black one as a good luck hat. He stopped wearing it for a while and was playing terribly, and he brought it back. I said, is that actually a luck thing? He said, yes.
There you go.
So they've gotten him one now.
Yeah, refrags required there. Taz in the open, the M4A4. Yeah, it's one of the most annoying things about CSGO is being able to crouch and move and spray at the same time, enough for accuracy. But if it's there and it works, you should use it. Taz shows us how it's done. And it will be 7-3 now. Navi still with money available, but like we said, Virtus Pro with the reinvestments, still haven't stabilized them. They win this round, breaks the money of Navi, they can finally gets some real momentum going in their favor. Pasha's still on the AWP, but it's Taz who's been the standout player for them so far. Sprayed down before towards the apartments area, that previous round towards quad. Looking like he's stepping up today. Number 11, still quite early days. Going to another orb situation here. Pasha doesn't like to commit right towards the T-steps. Looks towards the underpass this time. Can't find anything for it as of yet. And NAVI, the previous round, didn't go towards Banana whatsoever. Went for the set piece off the bat. Didn't seem like it really worked in their favor. But for now, smoke's down on top of B. Neo and Bialy won't be contesting whatsoever. HE's designed to push back anyone in the corner, Orpa for example, but Neo's boosted up. And Bialy's behind the fountain. A standard set up for them. The idea is Neo gets the first kill, drops down. They have tunnel vision toward that first orange's position. And at that point, Bialy, it's a really difficult position to spot in towards behind the fountain. And then the idea is they don't really check fountain. He gets a little spray down there.
Edward and Flamey wait toward the apartments with hope that they'll be able to contribute. If they're catching off rotations or selling out the fact that they won't be able to rotate ahead of the play. They've already done that. They've already put Pasha through CT, so he'll be over toward B if the bomb continues to head that direction. Simple and seized. The two still in Banana. I think they're going to back because Zeus going over early. Yeah, they leave two there just to get an additional flash and smoke in the site to further sell the fact that they want to go on B. But Zeus going back over early to tell that they actually want to go toward A. But inside of it, they find Taz and Snacks. Good crossfire set, both going down immediately. Bomb still up in the hands of Simple. It's been re-grabbed, but he's got to get around the corner quick enough. A WP manages one shot. Flamey follows. It gives them a real fighting chance in the round until Pasha gets seized. The information that they're at the arch and no closer will mean they have time to establish a post plant. Good shot. Pasha to beat Simple. Partially blind as well.
Yeah, he got completely blind there and managed to run away with the situation. But Flamey now on the 2 versus 1 finds Pasha. Now it's up to Bialy and Neo. They'll be pinching him in together. Nice timing from Neo though, coming in for the apartments area. Finds the final frag, and that's what we needed to see there. A few rounds in a row, make it 3 for Virtus Pro. Their money should be in a decent position now, and potentially the first eco here for NAVI. Their money will be about 3 grand per player, maybe just over that, about 3,500. Simple can still buy an Orb if he wants to. He's one of the few that has money here. And Pasha on the retake. I have to say, C's going to play that a lot better. In the open towards the arch, if he holds this A-off angle where he can't be pre-fired or not be in the open when the bomb's down as well, pressure's applied to the CT's retaking. I think he's better off to smooth his teammates there. But still, we do have the force by coming through. UMP, Galil, Seeds and Edward. Couple of AK things, he's flaming Zeus without smokes or Molotovs, just flashbangs, and the Simple Orb. Last buy available for NAVI. 2 snipers for Virtus Pro. Neo on the secondary sniper. I did say I thought it would be Snacks at this point. He was very, very aggressive and great, I thought, in Inferno, generally speaking. But Virtus Pro, they like to mix things up in terms of the AWP role. Every few months, it seems. There was a time when Neo was the main AWP for VP.
No denying it. They've certainly flirted with it. Another 3-man early set toward Banana. This time they're actually going to try and establish dominance. Everyone loves a good domination as they push all the way down Banana. Smoke dissolves. They won't sit. They won't burrow in. They just get low enough to confirm no one's down toward the tree or the logs. And then it's back over toward A, and they're going to need to hurry up with it. 3 players going to be playing on the arch side because they've lost Taz inside of the pit. Clean entrance there for NAVI, and clean indeed. Zeus is able to get Pasha walking up as top mid now opens up. Snacks and Bialy are going to bail early because money's not great for Virtus Pro. 3 in a row, but they're not exactly in a position to buy in the next round, so have to save every weapon they have to drop out. Pasha, 1950 in the grave right now, so he'll be getting an additional 1,400.
They will save the double orb setup though. That's for Neo and Snacks, so that's still absolutely fine. Forcing around this, it's quite common in Inferno just to see a couple of frags come in and you just save on the other side of the map. It means that trying to retake a position like A or B, both of them very difficult. And this T's have all 5 players alive as well. It's just very unlikely you're going to win that exchange. It's kind of just take a more modest approach, allow them to have it. Sure, it's a bit of pill to swallow, but this is what's best for them in the grand scheme of things, Virtus Pro. They'll hold up towards B. No one coming hunting whatsoever. NAVI know they need to keep all 5 players alive here, so they upgrade one of the UMPs to an M4. That's for C's. Edward keeps on his Galil for now. But A4, they have 1.5. NAVI now on the T side. looking very good. Simple with 15 kills, just to note. Zeus returning to the squad, 4 and 6, but he's more there for the brains of the operation. Spy from Virtus Pro with the saved weaponry. Max 7 comes out for Snacks, and still that double orb setup, of course. Taz on the UMP.
Double up, as you said, was carried over, but it's down already. Good shot, Simple to start it off. Again, T-sided off for Simple is working.
Yeah.
In part due to, I think Virtus Pro is giving a bit too much leeway to him. Mentioning earlier, lack of flashes to peek him down, and Banana, this time they do try and go for a boost to get the upper hand, but he's already established his position and nothing to push him off the corner. Down 2 men now. Last round as well, by the way, when they decided to save and keep those double ops up, which you can't blame them, you can't fault them for having gone down 2 men early. It would have broken Navi's economy. Now they've got problems. Taz has done so well inside of B and getting multiple kills, but with the CZ pulled out late, can do nothing of it this time around. And it's all on to Bialy, who has an M4. He will not, ooh, I say that light words. I was going to say he will not get to one of the AWPs, but he's actually going to push. And there's one sitting at the top of Banana still, if I'm not mistaken. So he should be able to grab one of them.
We'll see what he can do. I'm not sure whether he'll get the orb, but certainly weaponry around him. That's Simple, just hitting a nut shot at the bottom of B. We did see the fallen stack towards the CT corner. He hits that shot, and at that point, Snacks pushes towards the apartment of the shotgun. Obviously, he has to be close range. Taken down. It's a 5-on-3. They commit fully towards the A side of the map, and bomb will be planted eventually. There it goes. Would have thought that was already down, but apparently not. Bialy will not be winning this round as he tries to stay alive here. Just lurking towards the banana side of the map. Still got the incendiary smoke, flashbangs, defuse kits. Definitely worth him surviving this one. Problem is now 9-4, last 2 rounds. Harsh reset for VP in terms of the money for the next round. Less than $1,000 per player right now.
I take it back as well, by the way. That op was moved from Banana, so...
Probably chucked it over.
I just looked. I didn't see it. It could have been Graveyard. I think maybe picked up and rotated off. They're pursuing him quite heavily, though.
Oh, he got it.
Okay, they found it. I couldn't. I was looking everywhere for it. Bialy waiting. Oh, sees him through the smoke. Slow enough reaction, but still gets the shot. They know where he is.
Oh,
and fancy enough, but doesn't expect the third. And Simple is able to take down the op. If he didn't move, he would have got away with it after a nice cheeky no-scope through the edge of the bags.
Definitely worth them hunting as well. Sure, they lose 2 players in the process, but closing sectors now, they've got more than enough to buy. And an orb, especially in this level of CS as well. Give it to a player like Snacks or Pasha. They can force them around that AWP and they can win rounds based on that single orb. So that's great for Navi to take it down. And this has to be a full eco now for Virtus Pro. If they save the orb, I dare say they probably force into this one with the pistols and deagles. But for now, going to have to allow it to go to 10-4. They might win the round, don't get me wrong, but with just PT-50s, no armor, no nades, very, very unlikely. Round number 14. Flamey, once again, on the SMG, this time an MP7, to throw himself into certain situations and choke points, to farm some cash, get some information, take down some unarmored CTs on the other side. There's Zeus to the first frag, those who find Snacks. And this will be an open A site for Navi. Nothing better than that.
Nothing better than that at all. They'll find double digits first half T-side Inferno. So Virtus Pro looking flat early continues to be somewhat true now. C's will wait with the AK. Inside of Moto, if in case you're wondering where exactly that is, because if they push out, he'll be able to spot them. Shoulder seen by Zeus. He knows they're not coming that direction, or at least flirting with the idea. And he'll pick up the first kill on Pasha.
Nothing ready to report from this round. Taz gets 1 kill with the Desert Eagle. Flamey only had the MP7, so that's not a huge deal. Zeus with his 3rd kill of the round. Taz now with that aforementioned SMG, but it's not even worth really hunting him. He actually got more to lose. The fact he gets $600 extra, but he loses his Deagle and his MP7, had no armor. Money, it's okay for the final round for Virtus Pro. Certainly no all potential here. They have rifles across the board. They did get a spell of 3 rounds in a row, but double digits on the T side, that's difficult to recover from for the Polar squad. Final buy now for Navi. You'll see the Deagles, the CZs, all the nades. And 1 kit for VP. Who would always be at the start? I dare say one of those is the smoke player, though. Nading at the very beginning of the round. That's Snacks right now. Nade looks decent.
Yeah, the nade looks decent, but so too is the angle for Simple. He's on 18. Goes back to try and fire through the wall. Hasn't got the angle right, and Simple goes down. Not only that, they walk out, and Neo is able to get 2 for effectively 1. It wasn't a collateral, but this, you're right, is the issue. And Zeus, he said the brains behind the operation, will not let himself get caught off guard. Pasha's going to fight back, though. Bomb goes down. Suddenly, Virtus Pro go from being a man down to having control of the round yet again. Flamey has to clutch back. 1:08 to do so, but he'll go straight in.
He will indeed. A minute to work with here. Smoke, Molotov, HE as well, but he is being pincered. We can see Taz there, who's been stellar so far in the CT half. Coming behind him, Flamey will probably be aware. After he drops that smoke as well, I dare say he looks behind him at this point. Here he comes. Let's be very careful. What a shot that is. Now he has got full control. Sure, he's low HP, but so is Pasha as well. So, bomb up, 35 seconds, and Pasha seems to be aware this could be a possibility. He starts to head back towards CT spawn. But I do give the full advantage towards Flamey for now. Bomb will be planted quad side. And we'll see whether Pasha can do anything about this. He's got no kit, just to reiterate, Matt. So he needs to find his kill very quickly indeed. He's gone back towards B. No.
That's all wrong.
Oh, he was at A already.
Sorry, Pasha.
It's
I'm
over.
Sorry.
It's done. He still thinks it's gonna be B. When is the penny drop? Ah, there it is.
I'm sorry.
This is
It was leg
it's
day
when we put the
today,
camera on
Pasha.
him, you just see him shaking his head. But no kit. Oh, yeah, he's got a kit now, I guess. So ran all that way. Does get a kit.
Watch him still win this. It's like leg day. I'll show you. Flamey, though, hears him because he has to run. Oh, Molotov bounced too far. He's just going to tap it, but Flamey's a lot closer than I think he expected, and it had to be a desperate call. End of the half, might as well give it a go, but 11-4 it will be for NAVI. A great start for this new NAVI on LAN. Mind you, Henry, you've seen them in the Pro League. I have not.
Yeah, that's right. They've been up and down. Not looking amazing, but not looking half bad either. It's going to be Simple with 18 kills on the T side, mainly with the AWP. What a shot that was from Flamey to clutch out this round. Missed the Molotov, sure, but managed to make up for it. If he drops a Molotov on the bomb there, it was pretty much game over, but still hit the shot on the low HP player, and it will be 11-4 on the T side of Inferno. Now, I did see in the team chat there was some issues with a PC, so we might have an extended halftime pause here just to work out what the issues are there specifically. But VP definitely got a bit of a mountain to climb now. Don't win the pistol map, game's over, I'm afraid. But that will be it. They win it, they can grind their way back into the game. But let's talk about the approaches you can have on the T side of Inferno in terms of pistols. Many teams get HE grenades at the start. They'll get 2 of those. 2 players are the best spawns. They'll nade off any aggression from the CTs towards Banana. Then they normally have 1 smoke, sometimes 2, and it depends. It's not like it's fixated on B, but usually if they get a kill at B, they'll smoke CD spawn, go in and get a couple of flashbangs. If they get nothing, and they feel like the CT's up to the advantage, they can fall back towards middle, smoke off towards library from the mid area, flash up middle and go towards quad, and then hopefully have the man advantage there. There's the 2 main approaches I've noticed since casting this map. Obviously can just rush B straight away as well.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what they decide to do.
I don't love rushing B on Inferno and pistol round. I really don't.
I think it's so scary because you obviously CTs get 2 nades as well sometimes, and you can just run into complete meat grinder in that sense. But it depends. If you have some information, you've watched a lot of their CT pistols, you know they don't usually nade at the very start. You can take the risk and say, let's just rush B. We know they don't nade it.
Yep, I don't disagree at all that it's viable in certain situations. Yeah. I agree with you. It's scary. I don't like debate. You guys go in first. I'll be 4th or 5th.
Well, yeah, like I said, a technical issue here at halftime. Best time for it to happen, I guess. It gives us time just to work out what's going on. You can see Pasha with the headset off. Yeah, so it's a VP player with the PC issue right now. Just to note as well, if you are just joining us. Oh, go on. Got something?
I'm just trying to figure out who it is. They said VP, but I see a NAVI player not in the server. Yeah, okay, so it is a NAVI player.
There you go. I think it was C's more like a C.
Yeah, he's not in the game, so.
But yeah, just a note, so everyone who's just joining us and didn't catch the first game here. The coaches can now talk within the freeze time. So there's 20 seconds. They can actually have input. So like if Cuban, for example, can actually call tactics or give input onto the economy or any sort of trends they've noticed. So look out for that. There's Cuban on the screen right now. See the coach and former player of Virtus Pro. But yeah, much needed pistol here. Don't win this one, game pretty much is over. But But it's probably never give up that easily. They normally give us a show, even when they're down 11-4. I'm sure it'll be fine. They'll recover.
Flamey was obviously a pretty stable addition since he came in sort of in 2015 for Navi, but there was rumors that very small ones that he might be involved in the roster shuffle. We didn't know what to expect with Navi.
I was surprised that C's survived.
Me as well. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Just not so much due to any sort of skill, but more because we know that the internal issues the first time around with Zeus and then some of the stuff that was going on, I thought for sure he was out the door.
Yeah, obviously Guardian going. It's a bit of a blow to lose arguably one of the greatest AWPers in the entirety of Counter-Strike. It's always going to be tough, but you could feel like, I don't know if you saw the Twitter exchanges between Simple and Guardian, that mess.
Yes, yep.
Obviously something that was going on that extended outside the server.
To be fair, I saw part of it. I took my vacation as very much time to relax and be away from CS, so I didn't follow everything that was going on. But in fact, most of the roster shuffles I found out from people asking me, hey, what do you think of this? And I go, that sounds, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's my job.
They just seem to have disagreements. Like, it seemed like Simple was blaming Guardian for not attending boot camps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
of
actually
course.
calling out publicly about that, which I think is a little bit strange to do after he's left the organization. There's no real reason to.
Yeah, no, there's no rhyme or reason for that.
Bring it up once it's done.
Yeah. And once you have issues, but it's much like Nothing said in his little vlog that somehow popped up on my Twitter last night. And laying with nothing else to do, I decided to watch part of it.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I could talk about the issues on the team, but leave that with the team. I won't. That's not my place to do so. Yeah. And that's the attitude I'd like to see. So it's a bit weird that Simple would have taken that to a Twitter dispute.
Well, hopefully we'll get back into it. Yeah, it's a little bit hot up here. Snacks, I agree. Don't wear a flannel shirt. That's all I can say. A very thick one as well. It's like.
Is it proper? I mean, let me see from my Canadian scale of flannel. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
up
thick.
there. I've got a hunting one that belonged to my grandfather that's really thick, but it's so sweet.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I brought all my nice shirts today. I thought day one, keep it a little bit more casual, get warmed up into it, and see how this develops.
Quite literally warmed up.
Yeah, I was just a sweaty mess, unfortunately. Didn't plan it through. But I thought I'd be in Sweden. I thought it's going to be colder. But no.
That's not really how it works. No. I get your point. I would argue that the UK is probably colder right now.
Yeah, probably.
I was freezing.
We haven't really had a summer at all.
I guess it was a week ago that I was there. Jeez.
Yeah.
Hasn't been that long. 11 days ago? Not even. What day are we today? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Wednesday the 30th of August.
Okay, about 11 days ago.
C's is back on the server. It's 11-4 in favor of Navi. They're looking very good. CT side. We talked about T sides. We talked about CT side pistols as well. Usually sending 3 players towards the banana at the very start. You can send 1 smoke down there or HE like we discussed. Usually fighting for the dominance of the B area. It's very valuable in pistol rounds. And CTs can either go straight for it or hold up in the crossfires. I prefer in the crossfires. I think it's powerful. The USPs can be a bit of a mess if you push any further than the car position. Well, you should be good to go any second. I can see some chat coming in here. Snacks just typing dots.
Bunch of Morse code.
Yeah.
That's cheating. He's communicating during pause time using Morse code.
Perfect plan.
Why hasn't anyone thought of that sooner?
Well, that's what I was thinking. We discussed this, I think, with you. And it's the idea of the coach could come up behind you, just like tap you on the shoulder like twice for fires round.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Why not?
So,
I mean, I think this solves that because freeze time's when he was going to say something or do something like that anyway, right? So I think this brings them back in. The question is, does this break the essence of Valve's intention? I get that the players want it, so it's better. But does this start to be something that the teams... I don't know. We have to see how this plays out. It's one event. It's the Masters. It's not like this is the regular.
I've never been a huge fan of the coach in general. I feel like it's too much of a crutch. I know a lot of the analysts love it and they think it's cool. I just think, for me, obviously... When I was a player, I thought being an in-game leader was such a stressful, difficult thing to do.
It's fun, though.
Yeah, and I understand what we're doing. It obviously brings new careers to CS and adds another layer to it, having coaches that can kind of concentrate on this stuff. But I always thought that in-game leading should be a stressful skill that you have to hone. It only can take a certain type of individual that can handle that. I always thought it was a really important part of CS. But it's still there, of course. It just feels like the coaches... I prefer them to be analysts, if I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that completely. No, I think, and I think that the people, that's sort of how the role was invented ultimately, is teams without good leadership looked for someone or sought out someone to help them.
And that's why it went so wrong for NAVI, pretty much. And as soon as Zeus left, that's when they changed the ruling. And it's just like, well, that's us done now, I guess. It's all gone horribly wrong at this point. And obviously, Starix as the coach for them, he did what he could, but it felt like he offered them as much as he had left, and it felt like they couldn't really work on it any further. But we are in pause. We are good to go. CD side for NAVI this time. Win the pistol pretty much guarantees the map for them. Have a look at the buy for Virtus Pro. They've got Glocks across the board, 4 sets of armor, that 1 smoke, and an HE as well. Well, they haven't got any sort of real aggressive play from the CTs either. It will indeed be a headshot, though. I heard that. Edward goes under 38 HP. They'll be focusing more on default right now.
That was, I think, through the wall. So
really?
Yeah, that was from the bottom of mid.
From a Glock, did that damage?
That's the confusing part of it. I'm a bit staggered to believe, but I think he was reasonably up close. Did I not catch that he was inside a boiler?
He could have pushed towards bedroom.
You're right. Okay, he could have been in boiler because they were spamming as he went by. Yeah. Okay. So you're right. I just glanced because I was watching what Pasha was doing at Banana. Look, sometimes I'm wrong, Henry. That's the point here.
Yeah, it's rare, but it does happen.
Nah, it's pretty common actually. Simple inside of the cubby. They have to check it. Taz is already looking at it, considering it. Good peek from Simple. I thought he was going to get the second as well when he went out for more. Good flash in. He will indeed get a second and finds another on Neo. Bomb goes down. Flash timing is everywhere in his favor. Unfortunately, bullets are not. The reload easily cost him what would have been a fourth, but he's still done his job.
That was so sick from Simple. How did he survive for so long? 3 kills. Flaming gets the 4th as well. It's Piali with 9 HP. Does get a headshot in return. This isn't done just yet. Might be able to get a plant here as well as he races towards the B site. It will be Edward to stop his cross though. There's only a flashbang available. We'll have to throw that CD spawn surely. Here it comes. Throws it in. Flashes himself. He just wants to get a plant here. He knows he probably can't win the round.
Yeah, that's all he wants is the money for his team. He might get that down. In fact, he will. So that's job done. Edward gets the kill. But you're right. Question is, do they buy here or not?
I think they do. With 3 kills and the bomb down, I would say you probably do it. You can obviously go for the AKs in the third. There's like both options are viable. Maybe the AKs more so in the third. But if you want to win this game, I think you need a bit of luck right here. Right now. That's okay. So it was an HE match. So he saw crossing over.
And then he got hit.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I thought it was
a headshot
here. Yes, exactly.
So it did happen. So you took the majority of the damage from the HE grenade. Then got a headshot probably for like 15 damage through that wallbang.
Yeah,
I'd imagine.
Well, that's because I was I didn't catch the HE then because I was very confused as to how that would have done that much damage as well. But there you go. It's answered its question.
I didn't realize you could do that with a Glock. You could even wallbang that. That's like paper then.
Yeah, it's super thin.
Yeah.
It was used quite commonly in the game in the major. They have force bot indeed, and Pasha's got a kill with Simple. Will now know that they have force bot, but Pasha was the only one with an AK. He's gone down in Banana. They're going to want to get that gun back quickly. Smoke covering it. Just going to double check in my version of the in-game camera that I've got if that gun actually went. It did, so it's on the inside of the smoke. So even if they grabbed that, yes, they would get away undetected, but they would know if it's picked up, depending on whether or not they want to get aggressive to spot it, which Flamey has done, at least for the moment being. Yeah, and it's left, so that's a bit of a problem. Deciding to use timing rather than firepower and leave the gun down. Taz, good trade. Deagle shot onto Zeus. They've got to get closer to Seized, who goes down. Taz trading again. But bomb is dropped, and he is alone. Force buy is not going to amount to much. It's going to go 13-4 for NAVI.
Yeah, that was the big round. They had to try and bring in their favor Virtus Pro. It's looking a little bit rough out there for them right now. Have taken a go here, 13-4. NAVI will be in touching distance of winning this best of one. It can be a little bit... Oh, Snacks is brought up. Okay, he didn't buy into the previous rounds. He's got an AK head armor. But the rest of his teammates with almost nothing. There's like 2 Glocks there, a P50 and a Deagle. So Snacks has to go on an absolute mad one this round.
Oh, good shot, Edward. Taz down. I would have liked to see him pick up the gun in the last one and try and utilize it on the way through. Especially where Taz was able to get trades, but you're right, he has to go on a mad one. A mad one! Oh, he tried, but then realized he got caught out, and they've just given themselves up. Don't drop into that alleyway. You've got an AK and a Deagle waiting for you. If you do, smoked off instead, then by Seized. Okay. Not that that matters, other than funneling them back out the other side.
Trying to throw it around, it seems. I've never seen anything like that jumping to the underpass, and you know he's got an AK in there. But still, Snacks making this force by work for Zeus. Takes down Neo, now 2 versus 1. But Snacks, known as one of the better clutches in CSGO. 29 HP. Here's towards the A side, but the bomb is down at T-steps.
It's just enough of an unorthodox position round that he could make this work, though, because they're not going to... Okay, he's making noise. He's going to say not going to expect him, and that's when Snax is almost at his best, because he can be sneaky. Sees, though, best sim puts Navi onto 14-2 to go for them to find almost as big of a victory as SK got over Booties. I'm going to stick with that. I like that. Yeah,
they've got to play over North or Cloud9, so they might not be in the tournament for too long, so enjoy it while it lasts.
Optimistic Henry, of course.
We'll see what happens with them as that tournament continues. It will be the first gun round here. As you said, Snax forced by in the previous means he's just on the pistol for this one. The nerfed Tech 9 as well. It's very good at range and tapping these days, but not so much running gun potential. So we are seeing it brought a lot less. I've been obviously casting Pro League since the CZ is the most prominent pistol at the moment, actually, along with the Deagle, of course. But we'll see where this works out. We Simple back on the AWP, had a great game so far, 21 kills after 18 rounds as he has full control of the B site. His team is full back to have the 4-man stack and the crossfire is enabled on the A side of the map.
Edward, the M4 wants to try and work his way back inside of the apartments. Take back some ground by which Virtus Pro is claiming quite a bit of it. Top territory at mid. They can start to use that to their advantage.
I'm happy to say that. I think that smoke was designed to go towards the arch. They missed through it, smoked themselves, had to run through one by one.
And got wrecked.
And got wrecked. There's the smoke everyone's been doing recently. You bounce it off and it like goes beneath the little, it's really hard to describe, this little balcony area. And it goes in right in towards the arch. He smashed it off that. And it landed here. I'm telling you, Matt.
I know, I get it. It's fun. It's fun. I love the visual. You're very descriptive. Everyone
so
knows
you can see right now, I think that's
the green doors at the top, that balcony.
They definitely threw a smoke that was supposed to go in towards the arch, and then C's couldn't believe his luck. They're running through one by one. I think it's a bit of a panic call at that point. It will be 15-4. And Galil's, Deagle's, a Mac-10. It feels like this one's done. Virtus Pro, a few decent rounds in the first half. Had to win the pistol here in the second. Forced board a few times, but it hasn't worked out for them. Now they find themselves with CZ's, Deagle's, Galil's, and a Mac-10. First kill does come in their favor though, but Flamey quick to reply. It's Neo on 1 HP with that Mac-10. He gets taken down. Flamey with the double frag and the man advantage as well. Ops in the hands of Simple. And in terms of the bomb, that's down in second middle. Pasha with the Deagle. Watching the banana here, but this has been a little bit disappointing. It seems we built this up to be a very competitive game, a playoff sort of matchup here. It should have been, but Navi running away with it. Chad was hopeful that they could turn out today Virtus Pro.
Listen, I put my money on them, but the thing is I actually don't have any money, so I didn't lose anything.
Well, there you go, so you're fine.
Well, you know, no worse off than I was.
50 seconds remaining. I really don't think much will happen here, if I'm honest. Good approach from Navi, 2 players on A, 2 on B, crossfire set up. Wait for them to make the next move. You know they haven't really got much to work with here. Run that timer down, force them to commit to something a little bit uncomfortable. Less than 40 seconds now, they'll just walk in towards the A site. Unless they get a really clean opening kill, very unlikely this happens. It will be Edward with a cheeky little angle here, trying to get the first pick. Oh, nails it, drops the bomb as well, and that should be the round.
Decent play. Bialy, as he backed off, though Edward gets caught out by him, but he's going to be caught out in the middle of 3 players. We're going to go 16-4, surely, for Navi. Bialy doing what he can, putting down the bomb.
Yeah, a vain attempt, but they are low HP. I won't completely rule them out of it just yet. As the smoke is deployed, they'll bide their time, make sure they're going together. And there it is. Through the smoke, Flamey gets the final shot with the AWP. 16-4 is the scoreline here in favor of Navi. Virtus Pro just haven't shown up here at all. They had a few decent rounds, 3 in a row on the CT side, but it wasn't really quite enough. After losing both pistols as well, they felt like Navi, decent performance all round, and Virtus Pro has had some decent attempts, and he got 15 kills, but he was the only one that really stepped up the tour map. You think about the 2 big rounds they got. He got that 3-man spray down a quad, 2 kills with the apartments as well to secure the round, and felt like it was a really underwhelming effort by them.
Yeah, overall I completely agree, but Navi, great start in the tournament. With Simple on the op as well, I questioned whether or not that would be something that came back to Flare immediately. He actually was amazing on the T side. As you said, 18 kills, primarily with the AWP as well.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like, I normally say the T side AWP is really difficult to manage, generally speaking. It's good for opening picks, but then it's up to your teammates to capitalize on those picks. But he was dominating throughout the early round, mid round, and late round as well. So that was really cool to see. Simple looking very comfortable indeed, I have to say. And Virtus Pro, not so much. That's not a great start to their campaign here at DreamHack Masters. They now go down to the lower bracket, I guess, within their group in the GSL format. And Navi, Like I said, they looked great in Pro League, but they had up and down. So I'm actually looking forward to see how this develops, whether they continue that sort of form. We saw a few kind of weird executions from them, obviously like running the clock right down and then having like lackluster executions.
Expected it, especially on land with Zeus.
Yeah.
That is also a contrast and comparison that you can make. They're a little bit quicker on land, they always have been. I think they're just a little more scattered in that sense, whereas on land they've always been very, very slow.
Well, that's all from us. Once again, we have one more game to cast.
Yes,
but for now, it's going to be Sue down on the floor with Simple. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Henry. Congratulations, Simple. That was a dominant win over VP 16-4. It just seemed like everything was working out in your guys' favor. Did it also feel very smooth for you?
Yeah, it was a great game for us because we won double pistol round, and after in this game we won like 2 or 3 clutch situation. 2 of them was 1-on-2, me and Flamey last round, and like 7th round of this game. And actually we didn't expect, I mean we expect Inferno, but we thought they're gonna pick Mirage because they past results on Inferno wasn't so good, but we just prepared for them and it's worked.
And during this map, there was actually a timeout called from NAVI when the score was 3-7. During this time, what did your team talk about? Because after that, it felt like you won every single round after.
We told that they're playing really aggressive on mid, so they're not using their smoke at the beginning of rounds. They're just saving their smokes at the end. And for example, the banana, they always use smoke start of banana, and after they're doing retake on B. So it was called by Zeus and Kane, and we just start to move on A more, and it's worked again.
And speaking of Zeus, obviously, team has undergone a massive change with him coming in and being the new leader. How's the team been adjusting to that?
Everyone like it, so everyone respects his calls, especially Kane calls. He's good and great coach. I mean, it's the first time when I'm working with another coach. He thinks more. He's like predict more what enemy gonna do. So he help us a lot. And thank you DreamHack for a new rule. Like now he can talk on freeze the time. He can talk after round. You know. So it's great for us.
Now, with one win under your belt, up next you're going to be playing a very, very tough opponent in Astralis. The last time you played Astralis, it was at Katowice, where they won 2-0. This time under Zeus, how do you think it's going to go?
I hope we're going to win because they're a strong enemy. We practiced a lot against them, so we're going to wait for something new from them. And we're going to play our game, that's all.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you very much, and best of luck. Back to you, Alex.
So cool there, Simple and Sue. We're getting to hear a little bit more of, well, Simple, personally, seems to be coming across like he's grown up. He's looking great in that interview. English is sounding better, and we get to hear that Kane, an undiscussed topic really surrounding Na'Vi, has been helpful in that additional rule change for the coaches. Joined once again by the beautiful panel, and we'll be kind of shedding some light. I'll start with you, Chad, just because you had some more faith in Virtus Pro, perhaps misplaced.